main essence of this engagement is to see all of us actually coming together to fight that common enemy that has been bedeviling our nation, Nigeria, and that is corruption. So we're doing this on the Interfaith platform, and at the same time, at this juncture, we want to engage those that really matters in this whole fight against corruption. We all matter in the whole thing because one way or the other we're leaders in our homes, in our family, in our communities, we are all leaders. In our place of work, we are all leaders. So today, we want to dig in more on how we can unravel the mystery behind corruption in Nigeria. Once more, let me acknowledge and also take the opening prayer, which is the first most important thing to do here. We're all faith people. So we'll go on the prayer model, and that's what we do is that everyone will go silent in just 1 minute to pray in your own way. After which we'll come back and we'll say amen. Thank you. We pray. Amen. Well, let me also say a very big welcome to our keynote speaker today. Under the auspices of Bishop Emma Gospel Bisong. I will be introducing our keynote speaker today. Before he speaks, just for us to see the meeting, I have with me Pastor Umar and Andrew Essien. Pastor Uwe Andrew Essien, Accountant General, Akwa Ibom State. Yeah, her mommy is here, so I would like to introduce her. Very well. I want to introduce her husband here, so you know me. I would like to introduce her mommy, Mrs. Remark. Yeah, then all of us, you are highly welcome. So, thank you. So I would like to throw the microphone to Bishop Emma Ison, who will be giving us a welcome remark and a little background to what we are here to do.
Yes. Thank you so much, Imam Shefulu Abdul Karim, my co-coordinator of this project. Let me use a minute. I'll still speak more, but you know we have a guest that must address us and go back to a very crucial meeting. The activity you are now, activity 17, tells you that we've been going around the country, northwest, northeast, south, south, southeast, southwest, and all part of Nigeria to advocate how we can pull Nigeria out of corruption. Corruption seems to be now very known endemic. It's older than COVID-19, by the way. And I'm sure you are aware that Africa does not lack in resources. Africa lacks in integrity. Africa lacks in ability to manage our own resources. And some time ago, the United States Consulate brought together Muslim leaders and Christian leaders and asked us to together fight corruption as religious leaders. The purpose of us fighting corruption together as religious leaders, I think I should just let you know, is because that they believe that the man on the pulpit commands more influence on the minds of the people than ordinary politicians who are fighting corruption would keep growth sometimes. So the United States Embassy pulled us together to jointly see how we can use philosophical and ideological weapons. We can weaponize our messages in order to address the misbehaviors in government, in society. Maybe later on when Imam Sheffield will be talking to you, he will also let you know how far we've gone in terms of even establishing a very effective website, reportmagomago.com. I'm sure you can with your phone, you check that. That activity has taken us to Warri, Ibadan, Ilorin, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Calabar. This is our second time in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. And we are happy that you are part of the participants. I'm sure this is online, this activity is live online. Our Muslim brothers, please forgive us. We did not have a central online way to broadcast this. We had to use one of our Facebook to just put it online. So that was not to offend you. You can go to Facebook, The Defense of the Gospel, or to YouTube, G247 TV. I repeat, you can send that. You can go to the Facebook, The Defense of the Gospel. Defense is DEFENSE. Defense of the Gospel. Or if you're on YouTube, G247 TV. G247 TV. If you have people watching us, they'll be watching us online. I'm sure the US consulate will be watching us. Our major sponsors is the MacArthur Foundation. The MacArthur Foundation domiciled at the Mobile House are the major sponsor of this program. But it will interest you to know that we ran this program with our pocket money, Imam's money, my personal money, for many years before the US Embassy said, look, you guys, you've done very well. So I represent the Christian community in Nigeria, and Imam Sheffield represents all the Muslim community in Nigeria. As far as last month, we were able to meet with the Consul General of the US Embassy in her residence in Lagos, in which we launched the reportmagomago.com website. Later on, Imam will be able to tell you that. We've also, in part of this program, developed scriptures from the two holy books, the Bible and the Quran, and see how we can use scriptures to appeal to consciences of Nigerians that we should fight corruption, we should kill corruption. Because if we don't kill corruption, according to President Muhammad Buhari, it's a corruption will kill us. So we believe that ICPC, EFCC, and many government agencies are doing their best in primarily investigating and arresting individuals who perpetrate corrupt practices. But you, from the professional body, right here today, we have accountants, we have journalists, we have media experts, we have businessmen, we even have traders among us, including pastors, alajis, imams, and the clergy. So we do hope that you will go back to your marketplaces and turn them to mini pulpits in the mosque, mini pulpits in the churches, and let us fight corruption, not with mouth, with our practical lifestyles. And the accountant general of the big fish in Akwa Ibom State, the accountant general is qualified. He could have come to speak as a pastor, because the pastor said. You could have also come to speak as a chartered accountant. He could also be qualified to speak as a civil servant, and he's really here to show that Nigeria continues to have men and women of integrity. He gave his word to be here in this small activity, even though it's recognized worldwide. But he gave his word to be here, and in the midst of that his word, he was in the Federation account meeting. If you are an accountant, you know the meaning of an accountant general in the Federation account meeting. You know what he did? He pulled out of that meeting. He pulled out to come and give us a 10-15 minutes lecture and to welcome us to his own state, because some of us are from other states. It will welcome us to his own state. I'm sure on behalf of His Excellency, Governor of Akwa State, who himself is known as Mr. Integrity, and you are a witness. One of the things that Akwa State is blessed is that they had somebody who came out of the field of politics, the governor. And I do, maybe I will prescribe on, they should be picking people from places we could not. Because once you see a non-politician that becomes governor, he goes very professional. He goes very conscious on projects and very conscious on accountability and on fiscal policies. So, ladies and gentlemen, there will be enough time to interact. Restroom is on my left, but there are restrooms for females and restroom for men. There is tea break, which I've ordered as soon as the accountant general finishes speaking. Your tea break starts, that they should bring it to us. There's lunch provision. We won't take your time, but please give us your next 2 hours so that we will profile ways forward to ending these corrupt practices in Nigeria. Our roads are bad. Today, a road that would naturally take you 30 minutes, take you 5 hours, 6 hours. Our system is broken down. We don't have much problem in Nigeria and in Africa than corruption problem. So on this note, I want to invite the Accountant General, by permission of Imam Sheffield, want to invite the Accountant General of Akwa Ibom State Government, Pastor Uwem S. Andrew Essien, to give us.
Thank you. On this one note, I still address you as a bishop.
Yes, sir.
Oh Lord, yes, you remain my bishop. You forever remain my bishop. I also want to thank God for the grace of meeting Madam for the grace that yes. And honor. Thank you so much. By the grace of God today, I'm seeing you. The Imam in the house. You are welcome to our Bible State. Welcome, man. Honestly speaking, respect is reciprocal. Yes. On the high respect I have for our bishop, that's why I accepted to come here. And he runs 2 segments, the technical and the plenary. Before I left the house, I said, let us arrange my day. Lord, arrange my day. And God answers prayer. We just finish the technical. As we finish the technical, that is by 2 o'clock. I jump into so by 2 o'clock we will log on for the plenary session. Wow. Lightly at all. I have a brief address here that I sent, an address presented by Pastor Andres at the one-day seminar on engagement of formal and non-formal sector on accountability. I will not read word by word. I will maybe break the word accountability. People in authority are always scared of this word accountability. But we must have it at the back of our mind that whosoever is entrusted with responsibility, entrusted with power, or entrusted with money, you will be asked to account for that responsibility, for that money, or for that power that has been entrusted into your own hands. Radio stations in the morning, you will be hearing the word, tell him to come and account for our money. Tell him to come and account for our money. Today will give me the privilege of explaining some of the processes of accountability in government. So I ask a simple question: what is accountability? I say here that it is a state of being accountable for what has been entrusted to you, or liable to be called upon to render an account or be answerable to others. Those of us in the public sector, once in a while, our constituent will call on us to come and render an account. To some, they will go at them because they have not done well. To some, they will celebrate them because they have done well. There is always accountability in every aspect of our life. Even at home, I love our women most. Like I always tell my wife, I give my wife money to keep for me. My money, my wife keep for me. When I want to collect, give me part of that money. She will ask, what for? What are you going to do with the money? You try to explain. The next question, is it not too much? She will ask you, is it not too much? But that notwithstanding, I still find my money, my investment safer with my wife than any other. The time of the truth, it's only between you and mine that you answer a few questions. But at the end of it, she will cooperate with you. I say here that accountability involves keeping of an accurate record of property, documents, or funds entrusted to your care. I also say that it is a means of evaluating performance of organization. There are people that when they say come and account for what has been entrusted to you, they dodge. I say here that the focus of this gathering is to discuss accountability in the formal and non-formal sector. The public falls under the formal sector where I belong, the public sector. I am proud to say that this government, led by His Excellency, Governor Odomi Emmanuel, is one of the most transparent and accountable governments in Nigeria. Anyway, we can stand to say that when you check like the sisters' performance, Akwa Ibom is rated one of the best states in Nigeria. So this is because of the leader of the state. Let me take a little look at what accountability in the government. I say accountability in government begins with the budgeting process. In government, the accountability process begins with the budgeting process. Once the call circular have been issued and the estimate from the various MPAs collated by the budget office, the citizens will be called for briefing on government plans for the next year. And the input of the citizens are incorporated into the annual estimates. That is why our budget is called Citizens Budget. Akwa Ibom runs Citizens Budget. At every point in the budgeting process, the citizens are invited to make input into the budgeting process. Once we collect the data collected by the budget office from the various ministries, departments, and agencies, we will call meeting of the stakeholders and present this is what we want to do as a state. They will criticize, they will make input, and go home and inject into our plan suggestions by the citizens. Then the estimate will be forwarded by His Excellency to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly for the legislative consideration. You know the budgeting process, the governor will send it to the House of Assembly. Then the House of Assembly will forward the estimate at this point to the appropriation committee, of the House of Assembly. who will inject the legislative parts into the estimate. Before the budget is being passed, the citizens will also be called to brief. The citizens will be invited for further input. Please, what touches the life of the workers. The civil societies will be here talking about what once the bill is passed into law, it is then forwarded to the excellency for assent. Like what we had for budget breakdown, and the citizens were given opportunity to ask questions. This is the issue of transparency and accountability, because the honorable commissioner will take time to brief like that of yesterday, the 2021 performance of the budget. The actual will be presented, the budgeted will be presented, and the variance will be highlighted. Once this is done, the budget will be posted on the state website. Anybody can log onto the state website. You will see the budget of Akwa Ibom there. That is why sometimes those who are not very conversant with budgeting and accountability process, they will lift the figure and start shouting that the government has spent so much, whereas that is an estimate. Estimate is not the actual expenditure. It is after the budget that has been passed that the actual expenditure will be done, and this is where we are involved. I will now get into the aspect that the Office of Accountant General is involved. The next phase of accountability is in the implementation of the budget. The Office of Accountant General is saddled with the responsibility of disbursing the funds of the states and accounting for them. Very important. Our duty in the Office of Accountant General: disburse and account. So how do we do this? Number one, every quarter we prepare quarterly performance appraisal report showing the actual performance vis-a-vis the budget, highlighting the variances. We do this every quarter and we post it on the state website talking about accountability. Once you log onto the state website, you will see the quarterly budget and performance review of Akwa Ibom State. Number two, at the end of the year, we prepare annual financial reports and accounts. We have not missed it for 1 year. We publish the account. What we have done now in the Office of Accountant General, as I'm standing in, people from the Office of the Auditor General of the state has come to the Office of Accountant General for the 2021 audit. They are checking our books, so that once they are through, we can move to the next process. Once we prepare, at the end of the year, we prepare the annual financial report and account. This will be audited by the Office of the Auditor General of the state. Once the report is ready, prepared by the Office of the Accountant General, the Office of the Auditor General for the state, an independent body will come in to check what we did. Once they are through, the audited financial statement will be forwarded to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly by the Auditor General. People make this mistake. It is not the Accountant General that forwards the audited financial statement to the House of Assembly. This independent body, Office of the Auditor General, after checking our account, will forward the report to the scrutiny. The House of Assembly will now, once they receive the report, it will be forwarded to the Public Accounts Committee, who will scrutinize the account and call all relevant MBAs for questioning where necessary. Sometimes they even call the accountant general to come and make some explanation. This is talking about accountability. Once the account is passed, I'm talking about the process of accountability. Once the account is passed by the Accounting Authority, copy of that account will be sent to the Office of Accountant General, a copy will be sent to the Office of Auditor General, a copy will be sent to His Excellency. Now, those of us in the Office of Accountant General, once we receive the approved account by the Accounting House of Assembly, we take 3 steps. Number one, we publish it in at least 2 national dailies. Our accounts are always published. The annual accounts are published in at least 2 national dailies and 5 local tabloids. Everybody will talking about accountability. We do that every year. Then we now print the account and circulate it to all the MDAs in the states. We circulate it to the 3 tiers of government. We do that, and also we send them to other states of the Federation. It's not a local document. We send our account to all the states in the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, and we also forward copies of our account to federal government agencies like CBN, Federal Ministry of Finance, Office of Accountant General of the Federation, and we also give it to the banks that are interested in doing business with Akwa Ibom State government. Then finally, we host the account on the website of the Akwa Ibom State government. So if you log in now, you will see the account of 2020 on our website. There is no restriction, it's an open portal. As a state, this is how transparent we are. And we are not satisfied with this. We have to strengthen our accountability. For example, in the last 2 years, we passed some laws that enhance accountability. One of such is the audit law, which grants operational and financial autonomy to the Office of the Auditor General of the state and the Auditor General for local government. We do that. That law was passed because these days everybody needs autonomy. And we see the need for the Auditor General to be autonomous, to avoid influence. That law was passed last year. We also passed into law the financial responsibility law, as well as the public procurement law. All these are aimed at strengthening our accountability and transparency as a state. I strongly believe that the theme for this conference is our particular now that Nigeria is at a crossroads. Like my bishop said, corruption is one of the major challenges in our nation. They fight corruption, and corruption has a power also fights back. If you are lucky to read a book written by on corruption, fighting corruption in Nigeria, you will see that corruption, when you fight corruption, it will not go home as sin. Corruption must always fight back. Where we are today as a nation, I think, is because of corruption. For example, one of the today's session at the Federation account was very strong, because you cannot believe why NNPC, the one we are looking onto to supply us the needed cash, will come to Federation account with 0 naira to the table. Last in Akwa Ibom, you are welcome to Akwa Ibom State. After this seminar, feel free to enter the town. And move for the ladies who have to move around the town. Therefore, I hereby declare this conference open in the name of the Father, God the Son,
Let's clap for the accountant. We really appreciate the honor. I hope you really appreciate this taking time. Thank you. Governor, you appointed the right person. And we appreciate the professionalism. And we thank you for finding them to come. We'll get back to you. The document will be sent to the US. We'll send it to the US. Yes, say something.
Very much. Please let's put our hands together. You think that your father's family is witness. So I'm coming here, we thought Lagos is a destiny. So we are saying that really took from this presentation speech. You can go to the website and you find this project there.
Yeah.
Which to me we are still struggling with a lot of states to do that. Not only that, we send their but even so as far as other states to look how transparent. And to me, tomorrow I'm going to in Lagos, we are going to we take your speech.
Yes,
we're doing this script. We're going to play it tomorrow. Thank you very much for coming.
For now, can we have one more thing? Just one. No, Kappa is second. Yes. Just one more step. Yeah, just join us. We'll take a real picture later. Don't be jealous.
here is the faith-based engagement with the formal and non-formal sectors. Most of us, as religious leaders, we also work in those sectors, and we can share our experiences, our insights about what is actually happening in those sectors that we are so connected to. Sometimes we are not working there, but we have people who are working there. Sometimes we are outside, but we read about what is going on in those sectors. So we need to engage ourselves on this. So what we are to achieve today within the limited time we have, which we have started anyway, we are going to create an engagement platform between religious groups and the public sector to scale up the culture and practice of accountability. We can hear our accountant general saying this, so we take it up from there. Then the second one, we design a template for evaluation and measuring successes of various reporting systems of accountability and transparencies in the public sector. We have created a website already launched, that is already going on, that is actually trending now, that we can do this successfully. How to do this will let us know. Identify challenges, bureaucracy, and bottlenecks that hinder smooth process of accountability in the sectors. We want to know those challenges so we can all work together to actually surmount or break those challenges. We're also using intelligence appeal and teachings to create a change approach to support anti-corruption effort. Every one of us, the accountant general is a reverend, is a pastor. We can even, this is a good model here, that you can find people in the public sector that are religious leaders, one way or the other. And all of us in other sectors, we also go to church. We are members of one church or the other. So we need to see how we can bring in religious teachings and ethics to support our anti-corruption activities. The last one will be to design and implement joint messaging and reporting system to scale up existing anti-corruption efforts in the public sector. Because we are focusing on the public sector, the formal and non-formal sector. That is why we'll be presenting the website to you for us to use. The last one. Okay. So what's the program activity input? What we need to do now at this sitting? We have received the keynote address, and we have to build on the keynote address as delivered by the Accountant General of Akwa Ibom State. Then the second thing will be participant engagement through panel discussion and comments. So we are going to create a panel here, and we're going to bring some people to sit down here representing various sectors and groups. And we have a question for that we're going to pose to you. You tell us about this. So we captured your responses and remarks so that we can use this as to form a template of engagement. So after then we have a wrap up with insight into lessons learned and best practices from what you have told us. It is you that will tell us what is happening and how we can jointly work together to reduce or mitigate those gaps. Then we have our closing remarks. Thank you very much. So in doing this also, we do what we call the evaluation. Getting to know what are the outputs and deliverables. So there will be a joint action that will be taken as a template design at the end of the day, we wrap up. More engagement platform created to scale up internal anti-corruption effort. Then we do our form of evaluation that we have distributed in your file. So thank you very much. So give me the website. So before we go on, we are not going to take too much of your time because the panel discussion is very, very important to us. We're supposed to go on the tea break, but the meeting will be served here so that we can have. Before I do the presentation, we'll need to change this seating arrangement. Please, we'll have just. Okay, after the tea. Okay. Maybe after the tea break. So I will present this website to us and what this website is meant to do while we take the tea break. So when we finish our tea break, we'll break to the panel's session. Well, this is a website. For about 3 years, we've been working on something that would actually help us to, help every Nigerian to make reports of what they see. When you see something, say something. We want to unravel the mystery behind the theory of silence. And because most of us, we keep silent about everything that is happening. And that alone has really added or affected our life in terms of people not being able to talk about what is wrong in their society, in their community, in their homes. And this theory of silence is really killing us. We must rise up in a very coordinated manner to fight corruption. So we have designed and launched this website for all of us to report anti-corruption activities. And we gave it a name that resonates with every nook and crannies of this country. If you mention to Hausa man what is Magomago, he knows the meaning of Magomago immediately, without any explanation. He knows that Magomago is when you cut corners and you do things that are not what right. If you tell an Igbo man what is Magomago, he understands very well. If you tell an Akwa Ibom man, you know what I'm saying, he knows what is Magomago, a Yoruba man. So he is a common language that we all agree and accepted, and we live our life on this. And that is why we said it is you to report Magomago. We call it reportmagomago.com. The US Embassy, the consulate in Lagos, they were very, very handy and supportive to launch this website. We actually launched this website on the 28th of January 2022 at the residence of the Consul General of the United States Consul General in Lagos. Fortunately, she was supposed to also be part of us in Lagos, but she had been promoted from a Consul General to an ambassador. So, in fact, our last discussion with her, with the bishop, was that she was going to support this website to sustain it. But unfortunately, we were supposed to have a meeting on Thursday, but as she received that letter that she's been appointed as an ambassador, she can never attend to any other thing again in Nigeria. That is the rule. So we are waiting for the new CG to resume. So this website is for us to report any issue, any problems that we feel that is not right. Let's go to the place where you can see the design representation. We have the president who is leading that corruption. We have the president of the CAN. We have the Sultan of Sokoto. When Mr. John Kerry in 2016 visited Nigeria, and the mandate that he came for was to actually help Nigeria to fight corruption. That what is hindering your development is corruption. And once we can fix it, then Nigeria will be one of the greatest countries in the world. So how to report or petition the Magomago practice? You know what I'm saying? So all you need to do, you can submit a report here, tell us what happened. Be it on the road, in the office, or in your place of worship, report any indecent and corrupt Magomago practice. So you go to submit a report. Can we just go to submit a report? Just people have been reporting here. People have been reporting. So we need to give us the pay. You can report your Magomago here. So what you need to do is to first of all register. You can register. Then when you have the design and everything, you can even log in directly. So you put your full name, your phone number, your email address. You can say, if you like, you can give us your home address. When you want to register, your state, case category, your state, you can pick any of the state. Then case category is there. If what you want to report, the category is not captured here, you can go to other cases and just type what you want to do. Then you now give us your gender. Because the reason why we need this information is to actually, when we carry out our study, to see number of people demographically that are, so that will also help us where we are having more reports of corruption. So that when we are giving any judgment, the judgment will be based on informed, an informed information we are giving, not just to give something from the head. So if you want to attach if you want to give a monetary threshold, maybe they collected a bribe from you to certain amount of money, you can tell us. Documents, if there is any evidence to show, you can also attach it there. Then you can give the details of the case and you submit. Do everybody have any cases to report?
Not yet.
Not yet. So, no case. So we go back. So, the next one, we do not investigate. Please make it clear. We do not investigate. We are a religious organization. We do not have the power to investigate anyone. We only send your reports to law enforcement agencies, those that are concerned. And we are still working on that to profile this website with the Accountant General. We can also link their website here so that whatever you report here can also go to them. And so we are doing that right now. So we will follow up with those. Once we send to them, we have someone at the back end that is receiving all your messages now as I speak. You report anything, someone at the back end is receiving this. And will now push to the relevant agencies and those that are concerned. So, but in the future, a very near future, you won't need anybody to push it for you. As you report here, it automatically drops on their own website or reporting website, so they can receive it and respond to your petition. That is that. Also help us to stop fraud. The part of drive to make Nigeria great again. Have a sense of vigilance. So those you can nominate your anti-corruption idol. Those, because in this context, sometimes we don't even celebrate those that are really victims of corruption. We have someone who, because he doesn't want to join them to embezzle money, what they did was to want to conspire against him or her and put her into trouble. So we can help such people to amplify their voice and create helping hand for them. We can also, somebody who saw money and return it back, we need to celebrate those people. Like Akwa Ibom state government, we need to talk about these states that are doing well. We know it's not perfect, but exactly. So we report, but we must also report good things about them. So that is why we have those. So we have common mathematical practice. You can see them there. So this is just the main thing about this website. So you can see various cases, issues that you can talk about, and that is the whole essence. So this website also will also help us to amplify our voices. If there's any program you are doing on anti-corruption, you want us to put there, you can load it there. There's a portion where you can make all these things and people will see those things you're talking about. This program will be uploaded on our video portal here, where people can go there and see. You can also read news about corruption and anti-corruption activities in Nigeria. The very important aspect of this website, and I hope every one of us will continue making reports on this because we talk about .com. That is the effort that we have made so far, and it is something that is really commendable globally. And as we see,
State of emergency and coffee before he comes back. I've been to a mosque in Lagos, so don't look at me like that. So we've gone a long way. We've been together to Boston, USA, to underwent a training on field anti-corruption and anti-terrorism, and he's a man that God has blessed. I believe that he has whet our appetite on the screen, and we are just on our feedback and we enjoy it. I would like to bring to forth some other dimension because of Accountant General's very voluminous offer of his precious time. We interrupted on proper introduction. So the best is to give you microphone and you introduce yourself. It is a man who was specially invited as one of our special guests, Engineer Etido Ian, FNSE, FNIM. Engineer Etido Ian is the chairman, I'm sure he's watching live because I've sent him the link. Etido Ian is the chairman, Ibom Power Company in New York, but is here represented by a very intelligent man, newly chartered accountant, Mr. Emmanuel E. Essien, the principal accountant, Ministry of Special Duties, White State Civil Service. So maybe while we are still enjoying our tea break before other introduction, I'll let Mr. Emmanuel to speak on behalf of the principal and bring his
I'm here representing my boss, my mentor, and here as the chairman of the power company. Some official engagement we had. And just forwarded his message to me this afternoon. And I had no choice than to obey. 10 years better sacrifice. That believes in accountability. He's a hard-working person. I once served him, and I work creditably with him, and obey all his rules. And so he would have loved to be here because this is something that is really troubling our nation as a country. No country survives with the level of corruption that we have. And as an individual standing here, it gives me a lot of concern. And the only way we have to do it is for all of us to get involved. Do not appreciate people who after taking so much work from you and you and celebrate them. And so my boss, a very credible system in Akwa Ibom State. In fact, he was the first man here that introduced what we call PMS, Project Monitoring System. He had a team, wrote a software to be able to capture all the ingredients of contracts, from inception to completion to the amount of contracts, contract levels and all that, and performances of those contracts, and see to the completion of most of the projects, especially in the era when our former governor, Dr. Gospel Babi, was in power. And I was one of such persons that actually served him. And today, by his grace, I am a chartered accountant, I'm a chartered manager, and a member of so many other professional bodies. And we know that as long as God tarries, Nigeria will be a better country for all of us. And so I want to give you his message that he loves all of you and God will see us through. Thank you.
Not to this man. went to the embassy to help him get visa and presented one of the certificates. So we believe that not only you pass through this conference or this seminar also will pass through you. As we continue to take our tea, good. Please, Yinka, help me too. Okay, no, when I call him Yinka, I saw you look. You thought your husband came. Okay. So, Imam can lead us. So, Alex, I'm sure you handle that for us. Or let me introduce my wife. Senior Magistrate Pastor Lady Helen Enyima. So Alex, help us take the mic, maybe where the mic will keep coming. Already a platform that will help us with communicating with you. So, and your email. Only their name now and where they work. If you're a professional and let's start with this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm April Song, Barrister April Song, and I'm the DPP, Department of Public Prosecution.
Good evening, everyone. My name is I am a healthcare behavioral and educational consultant.
Pastor, and I agree with that. The clerk, Pastor,
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mrs. Joy Kelly. I am with IMC, Interpretation Center.
Wow. What happened to having interfaith?
After Mr. Sheikh Said Saleh, and at the SSS,
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Pastor Malaka Stevens.
With ministry, I'm a journalist, I write for The Guardian, and I'm a media expert from everyone. My name is Ixine John. I work as a nutritionist in a primary health center.
My name is Alexander Odofogu. I am a community development activist and a transaction services consultant. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Pastor Okbekoyon. I'm a broadcaster and the manager news and current affairs of NTA.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Clement.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gabriel Singer. I'm a digital graphic designer working with behavioural. Okay, finally, I am Rostov Alexander. I am the M&E officer for the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Properly introduced. I want you to know that the purpose of this activity is to inculcate into us the spirit that hates corruption. I tell you, even in my own experience as a pastor, one of these days somebody invited me to South Africa. I don't know what happened to South Africa myself. I've been going to South Africa for many years, and I was messed up. I think there was this xenophobia, something. I was so messed up. The program was a gospel program. Was ready. The man was already sent me some money to help me secure visa and help me secure ticket. And of course, when that visa application failed, I had to withdraw my passport to go to another country. They did not refuse me visa. They were staying for months without issuing the visa and no reason. And I needed to travel to one other country. So I withdrew my passport. Now, one of the things I needed to do was to not only explain to my host, who was a pastor, I had to take responsibility and refunded him the money he sent me. Simple logic would have been, no, it was not my fault. It was not my fault. I didn't disappoint the embassy, and all the money he sent to me, I spent it for the European and the visa. And of course, legally, I'm not responsible. I did not decline. But in the spirit of anti-corruption, I looked for money, changed it to dollars, asked the man how much it, and refunded to him, and bore the loss. I have two reasons for doing that. Number one, do you know the financial status of that man and the psychological devastation that he's expecting you and you didn't come? He doesn't know the English of South African embassy. He may not know. He may even think I'm lying. Number two, South Africans, I'm sorry to the South Africans here, South Africans at that time, during xenophobia, believed that Nigerians and Malawians and Zimbabweans were fraudsters. I don't know if you're following my idea. They believe that we are fraudsters. We want to say Nigerian. So I'm trying to prove to him that yes, I'm a Nigerian, but we are not fraudsters. So the government did not give me the money to refund to him. It took, I must confess to you, I was not financially very strong that time. I had to look for money to just do that refund, to send it back. And when I sent it back, I called him and still apologized and asked him, did you get the money? And I responded to the last money. You know when they send money, they deduct interest from you. I did not even deduct that interest. I still paid. So in the spirit of fighting corruption, you may have to let some rights go. You may have to let go some privileges. Because a goodwill out there called it name. Bible says, I will give and quote Quran. Muslim brothers, allow me to quote Bible. Imam and I will quote our scriptures. The Bible says that a good name is better than precious ointment or than riches. So, and one of the basic problem of Nigeria is our corruption perception index by the international communities. I'm not saying they are all right, The Transparency International, for instance, they keep harassing us on our perception index. And what is perception index? Perception index is the yardstick upon which an outsider will rate your level of integrity. And vis-a-vis is attraction to do business with you. So many Nigerians are talented and gifted and good investment coming to our community because plus the Yahoo scare plus previous experience of Nigerians, people just, some of you I'm sure you have, they just keep seeing you as you are corrupt. Muslims that go to Saudi Arabia, you know what I'm talking about. Christians that go to Jerusalem, please be honest. Right inside Saudi Arabia, they start looking at you as if your Islamic grace is less than their own. And they mock the Christians too. When we went from here to Jerusalem, for my wife was with some men and women, they had to search us extra in Holy Land. In Holy Land. So you see, our perception index is very low. So please, we are not just bringing you here to teach you academical way of fighting corruption. We do hope, after Imam has put us into breakout session, some session, we do hope this will enter into you. Now, I say to somebody, I may not be able to defeat corruption in my generation. It may not be possible to do all. But at least let me do some fight so that my great-grandchildren will not have to answer too many questions. When my great-grandchildren, so I also hope the time will come. Someone will ask my great-grandchildren, where are you from? And they say Nigeria. And they say, oh, welcome honest people. Welcome nice people. Welcome people that can reform change. I told you the Ile-Ife some years back, you can keep yam on the road if you are selling yam, and someone will come and put the money on top of the yam and carry the yam. But I want to ask a question: can we still keep yam on the road? I think both the money that the previous person kept and the money that will disappear, including the side stool you used to display. So we need to work harder. Imam Shefi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's what inspirational thing for what we're going to do now. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Writing a book.
Some Nigerians, irrespective of religion, are coming together to adopt new strategies to fight corruption in all sectors. Coming under the Interfaith Coalition Against Corruption in Nigeria, the religious leaders are engaging members of the formal and non-formal sectors in the South-South on accountability and transparency, the reports. Whenever the issue of corruption comes up, fingers are often pointed at those in the public and political offices, with less attention given to the formal and non-formal sectors. Considering that corruption permeates all facets of the economy, religious leaders under the Interfaith Coalition Against Corruption in Nigeria are changing the narrative through the engagement of Nigerians in the formal and non-formal sectors. The leaders believe that if the federal government's effort to minimize corruption in the country must make the desired impact, there is need to promote accountability and anti-corruption through behavioral change approach among the citizens, irrespective of profession.
We are stepping down the anti-corruption fight. We are coming down from the mere ICPC, FCC, brouhaha, which Nigerians are used to, the media judgment of politicians who are corrupt. We are coming down to the market square. We're coming down to the drivers union. We're coming down to the civil service, to the temple, the Islamic temple and the church temple.
Those that are the hems of affair there that we think they are corrupt, they started from one family, from one home. They went to schools. They belong to one community or the other. They belong to one group or the other. So we need to go back to basically, when we started this project, it was combating corruption through interfaith platform. So we started with it, and now we are looking at promoting accountability and transparency through behavioral change.
Individual character has a lot of role to play in the fight against corruption.
The engagement is being taken to various parts of the country, including Southwest, North Central, and this Activity 17 is the second to be held in Akwa Ibom State, aside from other states in South Nigeria. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Evangelist Open, who talked about was her personal experience. She's a retired model producing Nigeria employee. She's also a senior pastor of her church. So she talked about, model producing Nigeria as an employee. She saw so many things go wrong. For instance, there was an inflation in the prices of contracts. So the prices, contractors increased the prices of contracts. That was an avenue in which they could make money. Also, she said that the contractors outrightly gave kickbacks before the contracts were awarded. Another thing she stated was that inferior materials were used, so they went to the market or went to wherever they could get the materials, and they got inferior materials because they were trying to cut costs. So in the long run, the company did not even save money. There was less cost effectiveness. Also, they went to purchase excess materials. So if they needed like 500 materials, they went ahead and purchased more materials. So as a result of this, there was wastage. Another problem she stated was theft. People outrightly stole. And then she said that whenever those people were exposed, they were sacked. So you could either be sacked, you could either be suspended. There were consequences for those actions. So she said they also had an ethics committee where you signed at the beginning of your employment that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this. So if you faltered in any one of those issues, you could actually be suspended, you could be sacked, or you could be retired. And she also talked about corruption in the church, because she's a senior pastor. People in the church are not exempt from corruption. So people try to benefit, in one way or the other. They feel that the church is also an avenue for making money. So they inflate prices. For instance, the price of diesel, they actually inflate those prices. And she said that things have to be put in check so that it makes it difficult for them to steal or to be corrupt. So you have to have knowledge. For instance, she talked about the prices of diesel. You have to have someone that oversees that department and makes sure that they know the prices, the current prices of diesel. They have to be knowledgeable in those areas so they can check. And they have to put checks and balances in place so that people, are not corrupt. Then I also gave my own personal experience. I talked about health and education sector coming from the US, that those are two sectors that they do not compromise with. So if you're in the healthcare sector or you're in the education sector, you have to be a person of integrity, because health is wealth, and a mistake or an error or any corrupt act in the healthcare sector will cost the life. So they do not joke or they do not compromise with health. If you're caught compromising, if you're caught doing anything that you're not supposed to do, you'll be relieved of your duty. The same goes with education. Education is very important. one of the two professions that you must be a person of integrity is healthcare and education. The same thing. If you're caught cheating, if you're caught plagiarizing, if you're caught cutting corners, you will be relieved of your position. You cannot cut costs. They have things that are offered in the health sector and in the educational sector for people so that you are checked up on your skills. There is no compromise in health and education. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm Pastor Saita, Group 1, and our first question is to tell us about corruption. In our sector, we have different people in our group, but majorly we have clergymen, both in the Muslim and in the religion. We have pastors, we have imam, ladan, and we have overseers or sort of pastors. And also we have businessmen. We have a nutritionist, and we also have a media professor as a journalist. We have those people, so our group is really loaded with people. But majorly from the clergymen, we look at, okay, what is corruption in the religious body? And we discovered that corruption has also entered the religious houses, which is very, very, so, that's just what we've discovered, that we have corruption even in the way people speak, in the way people dress, even in churches, even in accountability. That somebody even made an analogy of probably in offering tithe, and maybe we raise funds, you will see people trying to share, me having the lion's share, you not having the lion's share. So we just believe that, we just concluded corruption has entered religious houses, both Muslim, mosques and churches. That's what we have concluded. And we also said we have corruption in business places as well. People perverse measurements. That's what we have discovered. They inflate prices. In the business world. And in the hospitals, we discovered that our nutritionists made us to see that people are corrupt because they are impatient. Everybody wants to be attended to at the same time. People that come to consult a doctor at 1 p.m. still want to be attended to, just like the person that came at 6 a.m. waiting for doctors to arrive. This has even causes imbalance, because what we used to say outside is that nurses are wrong, doctors are wrong, people are wrong. This woman made us to see that even we are wrong to as patients. Can you just imagine? Because by the time I get here, I want the doctor to attend to me now. I'll probably and Governor Udom's daughter, so I will tell you no, attend to me now, whether it's emergency or not. So we discovered that corruption has also entered that aspect. And in the media houses too, we have what we call brand envelope, changing stories. And at times, I had an interview with Bishop Emerson recently. He made us know that the media too are the ones, in fact, aiding corruption, because we are the ones celebrating the people that we should not celebrate. We are the ones that will say best governors, where we will know that they are not even best. After all, when we give the award, maybe there will be return of that envelope. Black envelope, I didn't say brown envelope, so don't tell that they said that. So what we discovered in that first question is that corruption in the churches, in the mosque, hospital, media houses is not right. It is a sin, and it is just not the right. Because we are being brainwashed presently that, after all, when you get kickbacks, you say, after all, I spoke with a police officer recently, he was telling me, after all, I go survive, even the corruption, the kickbacks and everything. I said that is a wrong one. He said, yes, I know it's wrong, but I will use it to train my children. I will be using it to buy clothes, I will use it to buy shawarma, I will use it to buy this, I won't pay school fee with that one. So that's what Group 1 discovered. And he said that, tell us how your management has been handling that. And we discovered that in churches we have been preaching, against corruption. And we will still continue to preach in churches and in mosques, telling them that this thing is just sin. But what we discover is that corruption has even begun from the inception. Probably we look at Genesis chapter 6, that it has been there even from the inception. You understand? That means we need to go back to the roots. That means we need to go back to the basics. to check the issue of corruption. So what we have decided, churches, mosques, business centers, media houses, hospitals, we are going back to the basics. We are going to check it from the roots. That is just all about that. That's how our management has been handling it. That we'll be preaching the messages that after life, we should not focus everything on this life. That is what we've been doing. Do you understand? That even if you have amassed all these corrupt wealth, where will you keep it at the end? So that's what we want to now reinforce, that since we notice that the more we preach about corruption, just as the accountability is still fighting us, we will now let you know that where will you even spend your time listening to this corruption? So what we are going to focus on is our mosques. We have Dada, we have Imam, we have pastors that be thinking of life after now, life after now, life after now, life after now. Before you amass, take somebody's thing that does not belong to you, where will you finally spend it? When you drop dead, now, where will you take that thing? So, being accountable, then we now say we will all be accountable. That even to our child at home, we will tell our child, this is my salary. That's what we discovered, that's what we concluded. In our homes, we will tell our child, this is my salary, this is how much I'm spending on you, this is how much I'm spending on you. So don't think there's one money somewhere that you will use to go and bribe any lecturer. So that's what we've concluded. We said that we have family-based reorientation. We are going to go back to the roots when our mothers, then, our pastor said an analogy. He said when the mother is going to cook for somebody, she will only pick her handkerchief. She won't carry any extra bag. So that nobody will say, my meat is like, after all, your meat will not be in the handkerchief. So we are not going back. We are not going back to our mother days. All those days now, when elders are talking, you talk, and you receive a knock on your head. So that's what we want to go back to. That's what we decided at group 1, that we are going to back to the family-based reorientation, and that all religious basis, we believe that sin can never be replaced. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, we go back to group 2. The second presentation.
Okay, so from group 2, we had
2-minute presentation.
Okay, we had diverse people. We had Mrs. Joy Kelly, who is with Interfaith Mediation Center. So she spoke about the challenges of women in the society, especially in regards to them getting into government offices. That it used to be 35% allocated to women before, and they tried to advocate for 50%, but now it's even 20%. And then the government has said the form is supposed to be free for women who want to go into political offices. But they notice when they go to get this form, the men on the table will either want to sleep with them or request money from them. So those are the challenges that women face in the society. And then she spoke generally about corruption and the fact that the centers she works with have decided and had events where they discuss, like she said from group 1, the family-based orientation. So you go back, it's somebody's father that is killing another person's father. It's somebody's son that is being corrupt in his office. It's somebody's family. So you say when you go back to your houses, you discuss with your family, you have a father running for office, you have someone in government. Don't just take their side because it favors you. You must be able to, tell them the consequences of corruption. Because most people don't know when the road is bad, you just think you're just not fixing the road, but many people may die in relation to that road. So those were some of the things she spoke about. We had someone also contribute to the religious aspect of corruption, but in regards to people that are assigned to do things in the church, like buy diesel, that they could come with bad diesel and bring a quote for the real one. And then the bad one gets to knock the engine of the generator and all of that. So he said what he does in the church to make it better is that he creates competition, a competitive base where he asks about 3 people for different posts, 3 people that don't like each other. So they struggle a lot to bring and expose each other. So he now knows what the real deal is. And then we also had an imam with us who said, yeah, he compared his experiences in Saudi Arabia to that of Nigeria. And when he went to Saudi Arabia, there was no disturbance in the airport. He was checked in and all of that. But coming to Nigeria from the gates, as you're entering Nigeria, people are already asking for money. Then to get his luggage and his goods in, he has to bribe and all of that. So he said the experiences were totally different. And then we had someone speak about the education sector and how you have to almost bribe in schools and lecturers, and you have to sort them. And she said also about the church that she belongs to a church where it's a very good church, but you have to pay money for counseling. So she was asking if that is corruption because they pay offering, they pay tithe, and now to be counseled by your own pastor, you have to pay about 10,000 naira. What happens to those that don't have? So I'm hearing the bishop echo that that is actually corruption. And then we looked at some solutions. We looked at solutions like someone suggested that social media is a good tool now to protect ourselves from corruption or at least make it known. So if like the situation of going to an office and someone is asking to speak with you, you can easily video it and post it. And he said I've seen experiences where those officers or corrupt public officials are posted on social media are kind of blacklisted because many people don't want to work with them. Most of them have been eventually sacked from their offices. And he also said to know your rights is also very important. When you know your rights, it will not be easy to trample on. And someone asked me that I'm a lawyer, there's corruption in the judicial and legal sector. And I said, yes, there's corruption in every sector. So they were wondering why some lawyers still protect people that they committed the crime. And I said, our RPC demands that everybody is entitled to protection. Now, you don't need to lie about what the client did or did not do, but your information is from the client. So you present what he said and you look for how to help your client in the best and most professional way possible. And then we said that one of the things that make the whites seem different from us, and we are wondering why they're not corrupt, is consequences. When your actions don't have consequences. I give them an example. I had a friend, the bus ticket was £3, but he kept entering this train without paying for the ticket because you can get away with it. But the day they caught him, he had to pay £50. Till today, he never jumps bus again. He will pay this. It's cheaper for you to pay the £3. So if you know that there are consequences, someone said where she works, like we had someone from the USA where she works, you're sacked immediately if you're corrupt or you act unethically. So when you know that there are consequences, great consequences for your action, when you pass a traffic light, your plate number is snapped, they don't discuss with you, they just send you your ticket and you pay a huge amount of money. The next time you never pass the traffic light again. So there's nothing that makes the Westerners really different from us than they understand the consequences of their actions. So those were some of the things we spoke in the meeting.
In group 1, we talked about, let me start from question 2, where the first speaker stopped. The effort we have, has it really been enough? We said that it's not enough yet. The reason why it's not yet enough is because this is end time. Corruption has become digitalized, no longer analog, which is useful. And therefore, our own approach too should also be digitalized, not just the old ways we used to do. We should see how we can integrate the old into the new system and see how to make it better so that it can address what we have. And then all our messages carries anti-corruption messages in all religion. Why? Because in all religion, we focus on heaven and hell. And this is the end result for every soul. And every individual should see themselves as accountable with their own soul. Because whatever you do as a person is what you're going to give an account at the end. So this is how we have been approached. Okay, are there any institution established? Yes. We say there are institutions established in our different setups. For example, we have Sharia court in the Muslim. We have disciplinary committee in some churches, and we also have consequences, which is like suspension, and I've forgotten what. In hospital we have Cervicon, and then we have complaint boxes in hospitals, and then in businesses we have Standard Organization of Nigeria. These are the areas we've been handling it, but actually this system has been on. But the question is, why is it also that it's becoming every day increasing, even though this is going on? That's why we came to the point that we should go and reorganize, sit down and bring a re-evaluation and reorganizing these systems which we have put in place, in case there are some things we have omitted, or in case there are other evolutions which was not captured by the old system. We should see how we can integrate the need to address the new approach to what is happening right now. And then finally, okay, are there any religion, any program that is addressing it now? Yes, we say there are different preachings, sermons, retreats, even pilgrimages, which reminds all of us about what we call it, about our faith and our life after now. Also, we talk about in Islam, we have dawah, which is like preaching the gospel, while in Christianity we call it evangelism. So giving to the poor is another thing, another programs which is being practiced, which we call welfare in we term welfare in religion. And these are the areas we have.
We really have about we need to end the session maybe in the next 9 minutes. We have to end this session. So you have made some vital points that are really of serious concern to us. And this whole essence of this engagement, we want to really get to unravel some certain history behind corruption. Quickly, the two groups you did well, and you mentioned some of the existing structures or machineries that are set to like unravel corruption, punish, praise, but we keep on inventing the wheel, and we are not getting like results. Do you think we are getting results with the present condition of the country? Even as an individual, we are not getting results. That's the truth. We are not getting it. We set up machineries that are there just structurally, just physically, but they are not actually in operation. Because you cannot operate any system without people there being convinced that they will actually want to change the situation. The Prophet of Islam said, "You will not change your condition except you desire to change your condition yourself. Except you desire that you want to change your condition. God will not change that condition for you." So no matter.
I need to say something. I think, as I've always said, everybody, including the very people at top, has to fight corruption. Corruption is everywhere. There is no section, including our homes as housewives, as house help, as anything, is everywhere. You may think that, oh, anybody is exempted. Nobody is exempted, because everybody is looking for something to do, to bring extra. So this call for the systems, as Ephraim has rightly said, when when we went to law school, on the day my daughter was called to that, and they read a lot of things there, and they read and they will not do this, they will not do that. At the end of it, we said, if all these things is implemented, even from our lawyers, then this country will be a better place. It's not that these things are not there, it is there, it is well written down, but we need to force people to accept it. Because when somebody comes, even like now, in government, a director general will come, and then they give the child concession. Permanent secretary will come, they give the child concession. A commissioner will come, they give the child concession, and all that and all that and all that. Then ordinary people will also look for a way to pay money to also have concession.
Yeah, I think what Madam just said is what I'm trying to get us to know, that are we convinced within ourselves that number one, corruption is a problem, and are we convinced that we need to make those systems work? Yes, I don't want, because of time. I know these are your thoughts. I'm doing this with you. I'm just doing a recap of what you have said, so that we can pick one thing that we need to go on with and start. We're talking about behavioral change. I did this facilitation to get you to the behavioral and attitudinal aspect of change. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you want to change something, we have constitution. When people talk about religion, I say, okay, religion, fine, no problem. But we have a common constitution that we all agree on, that this will be our guiding principle, and it should help us to navigate our national development interests and so on. But are we really even like abiding by those laws? We are not. Structurally, we have a lot of structures in Nigeria that fight corruption. We have ICPC, we have EFCC, we have. So to me, somebody posted something on our platform. I need to complete. And he said he counted about 10 people in Nigeria that the FCC have actually alleged of stealing money, and all of them are in the Senate. The 90% are still in the Senate. And these Senate are to actually also make laws, and they are the legislators. So it will be a serious mess. Conclusively, sorry, we have to conclude because we have to go. This program continues in Lagos tomorrow, and we'll try and do the way it is for some of you to follow us on that program. It's really interesting to have you and to see you come up with this. To put this I think that we need to work on our attitude, our mentality, our thinking, the way we think, and we need to work on poverty. Poverty is the basis here, where people are hungry. They don't care anything that comes their way because they have to fill the stomach. So I think one way or the other, maybe in the future we'll see our time engaging more on this kind of program, and we are happy to have you. And we'll take up all your points that we said and turn into action programs that we can, like she was talking about, looking at the family, looking at the schools, looking at the traditional institutions, the religious institutions, and see how we can continue like education and enlightening our people. We pray that God will give us this opportunity. Let's take the closing remarks. Thank you so much.
Please give your glasses. Camera focus on that. Please listen to closing remarks, Alex.
As part of the closing remarks here, I have
no sound.
I have two simple case studies in this matter. We are all the image of God. And God said, let your life return glory to me. So if you live a life that cannot return glory to God, then you have a problem. You have to ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? How do I want to live my life? Do I want to live like everyone? Or do I have to be known as Emmanuel, as I am today? So these are the questions. So when you are in a group, in a society, in an office, in a church, you want to do what everyone is doing, then you definitely will make a mistake. I want to say this. I had an opportunity of overseeing a project for somebody that trusted me. And that project was a massive project. That project was a massive project. And somebody approached me. I said, Emmanuel, how lucky are you that you find yourself here? If after this project you cannot have 2 3-bedroom flats for yourself, then you have not started. I said, hey, is that right? You mean I can actually make money out of this? He said, yes. He said, okay. I said, okay, no problem. Let me look at it. Now the first week comes, the second week comes, the third. I said, Emmanuel, you've not done, what are you doing? Look, this is an opportunity that everyone is looking for. You have not done anything, I've not seen it. I said, is that right? Please, give me a break. Let me think of how to go about it, because I don't know where to start from. And so the third time the person comes, I say, come, now listen to me. I lost my father when I was 3 years old. And for the time you met me as at that time, that I have lived 25 years of my age today outside of Bible State. I actually went to primary school in Igbo land. I came back here to do my secondary school, and then university. I was in Port Harcourt. I lived in Port Harcourt for 18 years. I've lived in Lagos for 8 years, solid years. And so all of this, I never lived with my parents. That means I was in different people's arms. And for you to satisfy the conditions required for you to be a service boy or an errand boy, you have to be honest. You must have integrity to survive, especially when you don't have anyone to speak for you. And so that has been my guiding principles over the years. And so for here now, somebody is having issues, having challenges, and he feels I can represent him and help him out of this. And they are now telling me I should mess him up and take advantage of him to become rich. My friend, don't come here any longer. If you come here, I will slap you. And they never found this problem. And he left me. And then the next person was the guy who came to begin to supply materials. He came with a card that was given to that person. The friend who owns the project gave him a card, complimentary card, to send to me because I was the one managing the site. He came and then he started supplying the materials. At a point when we had gotten to the peak of it, and then he was now bringing the materials in piecemeal. And so he started colluding with the storeman and the gate man. And I found that out. And I called them and cautioned them. And then I went to him and said, sir, I don't like what you're doing. You said this man is your friend. And you came here to help him do this. And here you are trying to manipulate to make extra money after taking so much. So don't do it again. If you do it again, I'm going to shock you. He said, my friend, do you know who you're talking to? Do you know who I am here? I said, sir, if your age does not add value to me, it does not make any meaning. Don't talk to me that way. I don't take excuses from adults that don't impact on me positively. So if you try it again, I'm going to fire you here. You fire me, I will deal with you. I said, no problem. And of course, he tried it. And I shot him out. I said, if I see you here again, we're going to send you out. And I shot him out and never supplied anything until the end of that project. And so that was one. And so at the end of it, the owner, the man that sent me, called me one day in the morning and said, Emmanuel, I have heard all the challenges you're going through, and it's too bad. I know you're a man of integrity, but I never knew the extent until now. And so for doing this, I give you 1 million that you will never remember today, so that you can continue to keep that transparency and integrity in your life. That was many years. I gave it to him, and I collected it, and I was so satisfied. In addition to what he paid me for supervising that project. And the second one, the latest one, is my son, 11-year-old boy. He just came on a midterm break. And I took him out to go and have his haircut and prepare him to go back to school. And normally, if I take my child out, I put them behind the car in the back seat and keep them. So when we were going, he said, Daddy, please, I want to ask you something. I said, what is that? I said, I said, go ahead. You know, we normally say something. He said, Daddy, I want to know, when are you working? I said, I work in the civil service. I'm an accountant. I said, yes, I know you work. How much are you being paid? I said, at my level, I receive 100 and something thousand. And at least he said, well, you didn't know why I asked. I said, my mom has a car, you bought a car, you pay our fees, you have a car, you pay all our bills. We are 100,000 naira car. So what else do you do? I said, well, I'm a chartered accountant. I run consultancy. Even though I'm in the service, I cannot practice, but I have colleagues who are in the field who are practicing. So if I get jobs, we share the profit percentages. You understand? We share the profit. And I lecture in a CITN school here. We have Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, we have a training center here. I also lecture there. So I get something. And then because of the life I live, people trust me. People have confidence in my judgment in overseeing some projects. Some people hand over, I don't want to mention them. So gives me a manual, go and supervise this, cross-check this for me, and report back. And in those things I do, they pay me. So that's how I get extra money to be able to pay this. He said, yes, that's why I just wanted to do it. It's okay, I'm okay. He's 11-year-old. Why is he doing that? He's doing that because he knows I don't take no for an answer. I don't accept anything that is not right. My children know me for that. If you don't do the right thing, you will get into trouble with me. I'm not telling you I'm a saint, I have my own fault. But you see, we just have to try and live above God. All that we're saying here, irrespective of all the preaching and all the sensitization that we're doing, all sensitizing people, if we don't really tell ourselves we must be committed to this, then it will never work. It is not a team thing. It is a one-on-one basis business for us to be able to get what we want. So that even in an office where you stay, you must be transparent, you must be honest, and try to do the right thing at all times. And that is the only way we can get out of where we are. Because it is true, it is really a problem, it is really an issue that we all have to address collectively to be able to have a good country. We don't have any other home. Anyone that is above 50, you're not thinking about the next generation. There is a problem in that country. And that is the situation where Nigeria is. Nobody is thinking about the next person. Nobody is thinking about his friend. Nobody is thinking about the system. What am I going to bequeath? Is it the wealth? The wealth is vanity upon vanity, according to Solomon. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let us go home here and let us go home and start thinking differently. Don't think the way others are thinking. Don't compare yourself with anybody. Just tell yourself, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to live my life for God's sake, not because of man. The Bible says, do it for the sake of God. Do it because you're doing it for me, not because you're doing it out of God. Thank you so much.
That was good closing remarks. It's been a wonderful day. I hope you have value to your time. I hope you learned something. Our conferences and activities are always in small rooms like this. They will be broadcast all over the world. And I hope Sister and others will do justice. NTR are going to come out with the news both at local level and national level. You can tune to the news today. NTO, you should be able to see your beautiful self. Okay, so we thank Imam Sheffield, my co-coordinator. Imam has been like a professional among us. And we thank our, he's already gone to his meeting, the AG. We thank other special guests like Eti Doyen, represented by Mr. Essien. We thank my wife and all of you participants from the Muslim and Christian communities, from the marketplaces, from the community sectors, formal and non-formal sectors. We wish you a wonderful day and a beautiful evening. Like the AG advice, you can carry your phone, you can lie outside, and you can hang your bags in some places. Or is it in all places? In all places. Okay, so your lunch bag has been handed over to you. A little transport money to help you climb cyclists has been given. Please don't be insulted by the money. It's a lot of gesture. And we thank you so much. Alex, thank you. M&R, thank you. Those on the media team, Gospel TV, thank you so much. We thank the NTA. I'm trying to thank our diversity unity in diversity diversity. Strength in diversity, Ikeja and Lagos, and then remedy for victims of discrimination and persecution. Those are the Christian and Islamic bodies that are hosting this. Our Mumbai House, I hope you are capturing this so that they will not withdraw their sponsorship. Mumbai House, we love you. We thank you so much. The Remark Foundation. We appreciate your initiative and investment in turning Nigeria to a corrupt-free society. At this point, we ask God to go with you, and God bless you. When next we call you, we hope your data is complete and is done there, so we can be able to put you on the platform and invite you through your emails to attend. It's been wonderful doing business with you. Or was it business? If it was business, the profit would be to fight corruption. Thank you so much, those of you, the teams, breakout teams, and committees. Those somebody's were so powerful. It might be so intimidated because tomorrow is Lagos. You know, it's so intimidating. I can't agree. It was what we had in the mosque. The one we had in the mosque in Lagos. Imam finished it. I came out speaking in tongues. So today I planned in this my own town. See how they do. So Imam is very excited. He's really excited. When you know Imam is excited, when you see him walking around, he has not eaten. He just go around walking. So Imam, thank you, and all of you. We appreciate and do hope that we have an opportunity to interact and help our nation. I have learned that apart from pulpit, I should do many things that will help my country. Desmond Tutu in South Africa, you have Jesse Jackson in America. You're not just a bishop to carry the cross and preach fire and close people's ears. You're a bishop to participate in nation building. And if you look at my platform, my CV, I'm in several national building programs. I have programs the whole year, more than 200 activities. You know, spans up to gospel programs, to anti-tax, anti-corruption, all this. Even in cross country, I'm not supposed to be an indigent. I hate an agency of government. Yes. I'm one of the few non-indigents of the state that is in government. In another state, where you know, Nigeria, except Lagos State. Lagos has passed them. Lagos has passed them. Lagos even if I go back to the so I do hope that my fellow clergy who are here would learn something. It's not just about carrying the Bible of Quran and just preaching on people. It's about changing society. So we thank you so much, those of you who spearheaded, who spent time. We can't pray for the time. All we say is thank you, and thank you. All right, bye-bye.